This insane black boulder you see on the screen will be the project of this video. But first of all, I'm gonna show you some of my warm-ups, not only stretches and on the hangboard, but also on boulders. I will also put a timeline if you want to skip my warm-up or the boulders that I'm warming up on, so if you just want to watch that one boulder, then you can skip to that timeline. So anyways, as I'm warming up, I will answer to one of the questions I received in my video. So do I have any tips in terms of recovery for like an A2 pulley injury, for example? And honestly, in my opinion, I think the best way to recover from a finger injury is to keep on climbing on it. And I know it sounds a little weird at first, because if you injured your finger by climbing, you're supposed to stop climbing. And of course at first you need to chill a little, but then I think climbing on it, slowly of course, and not climbing too much on crimps, is gonna reinforce them. So that way you will always be working on your fingers, so they will get stronger and eventually come back to when you were not injured. And instead of climbing, what you can do is also Emil Abrahamsson's hangboarding routine, which is basically hanging twice a day, which is what I'm doing when I'm not climbing. So again, that will reinforce your pulleys and eventually that injury will go away. That being said, I still have my finger injuries, so hopefully one day I will recover from them. And lastly, what I do is tape my fingers on every session. And I'm not a physio, so I don't know if it actually helps, but it definitely gives more support to my fingers. So when I'm warming up on easy boulders, I really focus on what needs to be warmed up. So for me, if you notice in this clip, I'm really warming up my hips instead of my arms. So I'm moving my hips more than usual because I want to stretch them and I want to get them ready for hard boulders. So I really think it's a good exercise even for your technique, because it forces you to stretch them and also use them in a way that takes off some weight off your arms. I also like to do dynamic moves in my warm-ups because that warms my body up, and that way I'll be very awake when I'm doing these hard boulders. Also, warming up your flow like this can really get you ready for your session because you're using momentum to use less strength and more of like a flowy beta that's more efficient. Oh, and I did challenge myself to not use any crimps up there, so it probably went from V4 to probably V8. But again, just really trying to warm up my body and get ready. Alright, so second to last boulder. It's a circuit 5 and my guess is probably V6, hard V6 to maybe V7. And I'm really trying to find this flow of like when I'm going to a move, I'm going directly to the next one by using the momentum. So just really focusing on moving fast and efficiently. And now we're on the last boulder of my warm-up, and this is a circuit 6. As you can see, the holds are not too good, and my goal for this one was to really warm up my fingers by really crimping hard on these slopey holds that were not really good. But again, it's a slab, so it's more of a positional boulder, but up there it definitely did warm up my fingers, which is what I wanted. And I'm not gonna lie, this boulder was actually super cool. I didn't expect it to like it that much, but I actually enjoyed it. So after this boulder, I was warmed up on every aspect and I was ready to hop on the project for this session. So here we are in this boulder and I'll be trying to break down every move. So it starts off with a small lock off on the right, and after that I already had trouble understanding what beta to do, so I kind of just jumped by thinking it was like a catch. But then I was wondering if I could do it statically, and you'll see a better angle in a moment, but for now I'm just telling you these holds are so bad in a small compression that it feels weird to generate from that position, and the feet are not really well placed. So now we have a better angle to see what the holds look like, and really here I'm trying to switch my right hand and going to the next hold with this weird small compression. However, in this attempt my left hand is super high and I'm already placed in this position, and I finally stuck the move. So after figuring out this beginning, I did drop out because I knew I didn't have the energy for the rest of the boulder. So I think it can be interesting to put it side to side. On the left side, I had my left hand super low and I couldn't stick the move. But on the right side, when I figured out that my left hand can go higher and the hold was a little better, I could generate from that position and it made a whole difference. You can see the feet are the same, but when I brought my left hand higher, even my body position was closer to the next move. So I would say this beginning section took me around 15 tries, and even if I figured out this section before, the move was still super hard. I couldn't get this move consistently at first, so my secret was really all on the foot. I did this small dance of like flagging, and then I go left, right, left, and then finally bumping. So I would personally give this beginning section a V9 grade. And this is my favorite move right there. You do a small jump on pretty good holds, but the move is just so satisfying to hit. And now we're on the crux of the boulder. You have a left heel hook and you have to jump on this weird hold that's sideways. And we don't see the crimp too much from here, but it's kind of rounded, so you can't just lock it off unless you're super strong. But in that position, I was trying to put a toe hook instead of a heel hook to see if it was easier to generate. But yeah, it was still weird because when you let go of your feet, you can't generate too much and the hold is sideways. So I was trying to figure out this move for so many attempts. Again, probably 10 to 15 tries just on this one. And I was even trying some funky betas like this attempt by going feet first, but it was definitely not the intended beta. But honestly, I think in these situations, the best thing to do is to climb with people, because other people bring out different betas and sometimes you're too focused on your own style and then you don't really notice the other ways that can be probably easier. But unfortunately, in that session, I was just climbing alone. So in this attempt, you can see I will get super close to getting it, and I stuck it once actually. I didn't film it, but I was kinda understanding this move already, but from the beginning it would have been too hard to generate and let go of the feet at the same time. However, in this attempt, I finally did something different that worked, and you can see my right foot is stepping on that right foot, and that way I can really push. And there, I just got it so easily. And you can see here, I'm like really frustrated that I didn't find this earlier. Alright, I'm gonna explain my frustration. So if you noticed, I used to put like a heel hook there and like a foot that's pushing like this, and then I cross to the crimp. But then I just figured out there's this like this small edge that you can place your foot on. And that makes the whole difference, because even though this is super good, generating with this is not good at all. So when you're actually standing on something, it's definitely better. And I just like noticed it, that it makes like a huge difference if you're stepping on something instead of just like being on the side and then trying to push out of it. It doesn't get you much higher. So now I'm confident that I'm gonna send it with this small little foot. So as I was saying in the previous clip, when you're stepping on something, it's definitely easier to generate. And actually in this situation, by just stepping on it like a millisecond more than I did earlier, made a whole difference, because I was getting closer to that right hold while still stepping on something. I honestly thought I was just gonna get the boulder straight away. But here I was still like, I was close to getting the move, but I needed to engage my shoulder more because I was super low on it. And it was definitely still tricky to stick the dyno. But now I'm like, yeah, I just need like a good attempt and I gotta engage my shoulders now and I can get this beginning. And this try was super close. You can see I'm moving very fast. I'm kind of just floating through all of these moves. I also didn't feel like I was getting pumped. And in this attempt, I finally stuck the move from the ground. And I was like, oh, well, it's just finished. Like, this last section can't be too hard. I did try it once. And I was like, yeah, it should be alright. But I definitely underestimated it. This right heel hook is very close. And it's a small box for me. So when I got up there, I was pumped. And I did not get the match of this boulder. And you can see how disappointed I am here, because I knew I had no more juice in this session. I also started bleeding from one finger. So I kind of knew that was my last good attempt. I tried it from the beginning again. And you can see I was just powering out. I was just super pumped and I had no energy left, and I did try it once again, but yeah, I was trying to shake or find any energy I had left, but even then I had no energy to even pull from that position. So I was very disappointed to not get it in that session, but I knew that next session I would probably just send it straight away. So here's a clip of me trying the last move, but I was with the jug. I wasn't with the crimp, so I didn't really know what the position was like. So this is kind of a bad habit that I could maybe fix, to not try the boulder from like with the jug and then trying to match. If it's a tricky match, you should try it from the real position. And I think that cost me. I would have really understood the move better. But, well, now I know for the next time that I shouldn't underestimate the last move of a hard boulder. So honestly, a 5-star boulder that was super beautiful, and it was very enjoyable to try hard on it. So I'll leave you with a clip of Hugo flashing this boulder, but again, I'm not really surprised since he has World Cup strength, and you'll see how easy he makes it look. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Nice. There you go. Oh, what the fuck, man? Come on. There you go. Hi, man. Ah, yo. What? No fucking way, man. Ah. Et t'en penses quoi? Ouais, il est quand même très dur. Le reste, c'est la randonnée quand même. Ouais, mais tu l'as fait de manière plus tough. Moi, j'ai cliqué sur ça. Genre, dès que j'enlève mon talon, j'y allais.